Hello and a very warm welcome. You've joined us live for the first time in SFL history from the great city of St. Petersburg, Florida, as Max Paul has finally brought his team home to the Sunshine State of the Night. The Florida Storm face off against longtime and now in-state rivals, the Jacksonville Kings. Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Michael Tuano. I'm joined in the booth by SFL legend, Eddie Gage. Eddie, it's a great night for some great football. Expect some hard-hitting defense between these two storied franchises.
What up, though? Speaking of these two storied franchises and their new relocation, I was meeting with the owners earlier this week, and they've billed this the Battle of I-95.
Battle of I-95 is right. You can take it straight from one stadium to the other. We're down to the field for the coin toss. As you see both sets of captains out there, you see the back of Christian Christensen, the fantastic Jacksonville quarterback. Opposite him, Ron Cochran, the three-time champion Florida quarterback. Don't go anywhere. Kickoff is coming up next. The I-Storm in South Florida. The kicker for the Storm is Ethan Sneed. He's got the ball on the tee. He's got his hand in the air. The whistle goes, and it's game on from the I in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's the Pride, or the Kings, I should say, in all white tonight. There's one. That's my one slip-up. Ball is returned by Jones out to the 32-yard line. Let's meet the starting offense for the Jacksonville Kings. Their quarterback is six-season veteran Christian Christensen. He's in the back, flanked to the backfield by Jared Willis at running back. Wide receivers Hunter Jones, Ken Gossett, and Grayson Willis, and Jack Wall is his tight end. He's under center. First down and 10 from the 32-yard line. Christensen near side, and diving to make the catch is Ken Gossett. He'll be the go-to man tonight for the Jacksonville Kings in all white.
Absolutely, he will. He had 8 catches for 124 yards and a touchdown last week against Atlanta.
A game that the Tallahassee Pride did. Man, I've done it again. The Jacksonville Kings did fall to the Atlanta Storm 27-20 a week ago. Still looking for their first win of the season. Second down and 3. Christensen, plenty of time in the pocket. Now the pressure comes, and he goes down back at the 33-yard line. There is the man himself, big, sexy Alex Dominguez with his first sack of the game.
I think Alaska might have caught them slipping on that play there. Typically, they don't like to blitz too often. That time, they brought an extra defender in the box and caught Jacksonville off guard.
Now 3rd and 9 for the Kings. Christensen over the middle and wide open for the first down up to the 45-yard line. Goes Hunter Jones, moves the sticks for Jacksonville.
This is how they started the game last week versus Atlanta, with a short passing game. And until they got away from it, they were pretty much in that game neck and neck with Atlanta on the road.
Fresh set of downs for the Kings, just on their own side of midfield from the 46-yard line. 9 minutes, 39 seconds. Christensen fires short over the middle left to Gossett. He is hauled down by a host of Swarm defenders. Among those, that would be Jeff Belitishin and Andrew Francis, both there to make the tackle.
Jacksonville with this short passing game, doing what Christian Christensen does best. He can keep those passes short. I like their chances today.
4-yard gain on first down, moves the ball just over the midfield stripe. Here's a strike out to Jason Stackhouse. The tight end will be incomplete as Stackhouse was out of bounds. 3rd down and 6.
This is what Jacksonville does not want. They want to keep these the down and distance management in all situations. And anytime they ask Christian to do too much, that's when bad things tend to happen. We'll see what they do here.
Second straight 3rd down and long. This one a 3rd and 6 from midfield. 9 minutes 8 on the clock. Kings with their opening drive of the game. Christensen, he's got pressure in his face and he's going to go down. Another sack for the defensive line. That's Pierre Leone striking through and forcing the punt on the opening drive.
For the second time in this drive, I almost said it myself. Florida brought pressure, and this time, for the second time in this drive, they both got home. So Christian isn't handling the pressure too well so far.
The punter for Jacksonville is Howard McCoy. And he gets this one away. It's returned up to the 23-yard line of Florida. And let's take a look at the Florida offense. Their quarterback is Ron Cochran. Their wide receivers are Robert Merrill, Stephen Bush, and Optimus Clyde. Their fullback is J.W. Doyle, running back Connor Weston, tight end E.J. Minson. And another player to watch is up there at the offensive line position, Claude Luge.
E.J. Minson played in the backfield last season.
Moved him out to tight end. Here's a fullback handoff to Doyle, and Doyle is met and dropped for a 1-yard loss. Good speed to the football by Tallahassee. Let's meet their defense. On the defensive line, they've got Taquan Hale, Hunter Doyle, and Kevin Bain. Linebackers Chad Guy and J.R. Lawless. Corners Michael Sprouse and Bernard Gooden. Safeties Anthony Wyo, Sir Chappelle, Alex Bond, and Succo Lobato. Ron Cochran for his first pass of the season steps up in the pocket and is immediately blanketed by Kevin Bain. The former Alaska player hits his old quarterback.
Yes, he played in Jacksonville for a number of seasons before taking off ring chasing, going to Alaska for one season. He's back now home, and he's reminding Alaska, Florida, what they missed out on.
And he won the season 12 championship with the then Alaska Storm. Third down and 16. Cochran has to launch it deep, and he's got a man open out there, and it's caught at the 39-yard line. A big move of the chains, and it's the main man, Optimus Klein.
Optimus Klein, in my opinion, is going to be nominated into the Hall of Fame here pretty soon. He's been around for a long time. He has 3 rings, all with Florida, and it's only a matter of time before his name is called. Third and long, he catches a fade route and gets the chains moving for Florida.
In double coverage as well. Now 1st and 10 for the Storm. Their own 39-yard line. A handoff. Doyle looking for the way. He's going the wrong way. And he's going to be run down, but he does get back to the line of scrimmage and falls for 3 yards before he is taken down by Bernard Gooden.
Fullbacks aren't known for their vision and finding a hole. But that was a egregious mistake there, but he was still able to find a way to get 3 yards out of that play.
Yeah, Eddie, usually when you see backs, it doesn't matter who they are, going backwards, it's going to be a loss. Doyle found some way to turn that to positive yardage. Here's 2nd and 7. Cochran in the middle. That was dangerous pass, and it was almost intercepted, as that was in and out of the hands of J.R. Lawless, and I guess that's why he's playing linebacker and not tight end.
That should have been his first pick of the season, putting Jacksonville in great starting field position. He's going to remember that one.
Lawless had 2 tackles and a pass defense in last week's loss at Atlanta. Now another 3rd and long. This one 3rd and 7. Cochran moves to the pocket, fires, caught down the middle. The seam route works to perfection this time, and Florida is into Jacksonville territory.
Those skinny posts are hard to defend because you need communication between the corner and the safety, trying to remain your gap discipline, but yet and still, that skinny post is very hard to defend. I don't care who you are back there. If that quarterback has time, that's a hard play to defend in zone coverage.
Just over 6 minutes to play, first quarter, no score. Florida Storm and Jacksonville Kings, first beating for both of these teams since their relocations this offseason. Cochran over the middle finds a wide open receiver down to the 29-yard line. And that's E.J. Minson, the tight end, picks up his first catch of the day. Had 52 yards and a touchdown last week in the Storm's victory over the defending champion Denver Night Wings.
That lone touchdown came from the rookie.
Bunch formation, 3 receivers to the left side of Cochran. He's under center. Throws incomplete to the near side, looking for Optimus Klein. And something I've noticed here, Eddie, early, is that Cochran, while he's been completing his passes, he's had to move in the pocket a lot on this opening drive.
Well, you look at that front four of Jacksonville, it's easy to see why. They bring pressure on anyone. I don't care who you are. We played them in preseason, and at some point, I almost considered taking Ashley out and conserving her for the regular season because she took a beating.
2nd and 10. Approaching red zone area here for the Storm. Cochran, plenty of time. Late blitz coming, is picked up, and the pass is knocked away expertly. Aiming for Galliano in the slot on the out there. It was knocked away by Michael Sprouse.
I tell you what, that was great coverage. One thing you need for that play to work on offense is a great offensive line, which they gave him. But the reason it was great coverage because that was a deep out he ran right there. And you want to be responsible and play tight coverage, but you also don't want to give away the deep pass to the end zone. And with no safety help over there to his side, that was great coverage.
Slight correction. Optimus Klein was targeted on that last pass, not Jose Galliano. Now another 3rd down. Cochran shuffles his feet, throws deep, and it's incomplete. Another knocked down by Sprouse. He's had 3 on this drive, and it'll force a field goal.
Once again, great coverage by Jacksonville, but Anthony Wyo did his corner no favors. He tipped the ball up there for him, and he kind of lollygagged over there and should have been able to pick that one off the deflection there.
Here is Ethan Sneed. He's going to try just about a 45-yarder.
Ethan was 2 for 2 last week.
Low snap bobbled, but the kick is away, and it is good. And Sneed is 3 for 3 on the young season and gives the Storm a 3-0 lead here in the first quarter.
Sneed remained calm despite that bad snap. Holder took a bit to get the ball corralled, but he was able to get it, turn the laces the opposite way, and give Sneed a clean ball to kick off there.
Jacksonville on offense next when we come back. Back in St. Petersburg, Florida, where the hometown Florida Storm have a 3-0 lead over the Jacksonville Kings. 5:15 to go in the first quarter. Kickoff return from the 10, up to 20, 25, and falling forward to the 29-yard line is Hunter Jones on returning duties tonight for the Kings. And both of these franchises have had a long history in this league, but under different names. The Jacksonville Kings used to be the Tallahassee Pride, and the Florida Storm used to be the Alaska Storm. But both of those teams moving locations before this season. Here's a handoff up the middle, first run of the day for Jared Willis, and he will pick up 3 yards. And you don't often see this Kings team running that much. Willis only 14 yards last week, as opposed to 44 yards through the air to touchdown.
Yeah, last week they only averaged 1.7 yards a carry, which is not going to get the job done. It puts a lot of stress on the quarterback.
Picked up 3 yards that time. Short throw over the middle, caught, first down for the Kings, past the 40-yard line to the 43, as Grayson Willis makes his first catch of the evening.
Speaking of which, I was talking to the owner of the now Jacksonville Kings, Frank Goodwin, and he spoke about this matchup, saying that he intended on having a pass-heavy offense today.
I mean, with a defense like the Storm have, and I'll finish my thought after this, as Jared Willis loses 2 yards in the backfield. As you look at the Florida Impact players on defense, that was Warner that got in the backfield and knocked him down.
Is it just me, or does Florida seem to have a different shade of blue this season?
It looks a little bit darker, but they do have that electric blue highlights that they often wear.
Yeah.
That used to be their primary color. Christensen goes down again. That's a third sack on Christensen, and that's the second one for Dominguez in the game already.
I tell you what, that's the third time they brought the blitz, and the third time it's generated a sack today. Jacksonville is going to have to talk on the sidelines in between series and get this cleaned up.
Chase Stanley pretty much stood there and watched as Alex Dominguez rolled through and knocked over Christensen. Now forces a 3rd and 16. High snap corralled by Christensen. Throws deep. Intercepted! At the Florida 44-yard line. First takeaway of the night. Evan Carroll grabs his first interception of the year.
Evan Carroll had a pass defense last week. This time he turns it into an opportunity, gets an interception off the zone read there. Great play by this last Florida defense.
Sorry, Eddie. And once again, Christensen maybe having to rush his throws a little bit because the defensive line for Florida is in the backfield pretty much on every play. Now the Storm back on offense. Here's Ron Cochran. He throws short over the middle, caught. That'll be a little quick 6-yard slant as Robert Merrill picks up the catch.
Florida dominates time of possession in every game I see them play. I don't think I've ever seen them lose that battle. They held the ball for 25 minutes last week, and they're on pace to do it again this week with this short passing game they continue to deploy.
It is a short passing game honed by years of practice between Cochran and his receivers. Over the middle into traffic and somehow caught by Stephen Bush. The transfer from Tulsa, who comes in his first season with the Storm, has already picked up 2 catches here in the first quarter.
I don't know how he came down with that ball, because while he was in flight, I was looking at the backup tight end, Mark Myers. He was wide open. For whatever reason, Ron Cochran decided to go to Stephen Bush instead, but the easier throw would have been to Mark Myers. That would have been an easier first down.
Doesn't matter how easy it was. Bush made the catch. 8 receptions for 165 yards last week. And he's already got 2 here in this game. 2 minutes 15 to go, first quarter. Here's Cochran, back to pass, moves in the pocket, throws wildly to the far side, and it's knocked away by Michael Sprouse. Between the battle of Sprouse and Optimus Klein, Klein has 2 catches, but Sprouse has 3 pass defense, so it looks like the quarterback is shutting him down early.
Yeah, Sprouse came with his A game, but he got help from his defensive line by getting the quarterback to shuffle his feet a bit and knocked off the timer of that play.
Cochran looked like he had a little bit of happy feet so far in this first quarter. 4-man rush, quick throw to the far side. That pass is caught. Turns upfield and more. Past the 20, past the 15. He's still going. Sprouse has to finally knock him out of bounds. And I'm still not sure who that was on the reception for Florida. We'll check the replay to make sure. It was Robert Merrill, the wide receiver, on the screen.
Yeah, the strong safety for Jacksonville, Suko Lamano, he was actually the one responsible for that area of the field, but he's a rookie and he's trying to get his endurance up and along with his abilities and everything else. So it took him a while to get over there.
Cochran, handoff, Doyle trying to find a lane, and he will not drop for a loss of 2. And it's Sprouse again. He sees everywhere on the field so far tonight.
Sprouse has came to play. He's brought his A game. That's the second time that Florida has run that play, and the second time it's resulted in negative yardage.
Sprouse last week against Atlanta, 5 total tackles, 2 passes defended, and an interception. He's almost got that many stats in the first quarter. Cochran looking, near side throw, catch complete to Merrill. He gains the yards back and a bit more. 3rd and 8 from the Jacksonville 11. And the Kings trying to stand strong and force another short field goal here.
3rd down, you have to find a way to get off the field.
Four wide, 3 to this near side. One-on-one matchup between Klein and Sprouse on the far side. Doyle behind Cochran. Oh, he's under center. Cochran to the end zone, and it's incomplete. Shading over from the safety spot was Anthony Wyo, and he thought he might have picked it off, but he just batted it away.
I don't know how he didn't, because he saw that the whole way, the entire time he's running over there. He's got the ball in his sights, and that could have been a foot race to the end zone with no one to beat but the offensive lineman for Florida. They caught a break there.
That's the second pick that Weil has almost had tonight. Now Snead on again. This one a relative ship shot from 28. Kick is on the way and good. Snead remains perfect for the season and gives a Storm the 6-0 lead. And Jacksonville will try to get something going on offense. But when we come back, you're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. Stay with us. Well, last season, both the Storm and the Kings made deep playoff runs, and they were buoyed by their defenses, as Max Paul and Frank Gooden, two of the best defensive minds in the league. And I'm sitting here in the booth with another fantastic defensive mind in Eddie Gage, who's the head coach and defensive coordinator out in Arizona, as the kick is returned by Jones up to the 26-yard line. As you can see there, Tallahassee and Alaska, where the Storm and Kings were last season, in the top 5 in points against per game a season ago.
Yeah, Alaska's. I go back with this with Max Paul all the time. He plays a bend but don't break defense, but he's also helped out by that ball control offense of his.
Christensen, 3-step drop, fires to the near side left, and it is incomplete as the receiver ran out of bounds. That's Greg Mack, the fullback. Dominguez in the backfield applying the pressure.
A pressure applied indeed. He made him rush that throw and led his intended target right out of bounds there.
And you've seen through this first quarter, which is almost over, 36 seconds to go in it, that the Storm defense came to play tonight, pitching a shutout so far against the dangerous Jacksonville passing attack. Christensen, sidearm over the middle, tipped and almost intercepted. It is picked off, somehow picked off the turf and intercepted for the second time today. Take away for the Storm. And that's Andrew Francis, his first interception of the year.
I'm not exactly sure what he was looking at. Alaska actually came out, and it looks like quarters coverage at the snap of the ball. But once that ball was snapped, the safety came flying down in the cover 3 look, saw the play developing, and actually ran back to be the first man to actually deflect that pass. That was beautiful work there by Florida.
Andrew Francis was the first person to the ball, deflected it. It was up in the air. Ryan Tobin had it off his hands as Cochran passes near side, caught for 2 yards by Doyle. It bounced off the hands of Ryan Tobin, and then just before it was about to hit the ground, Andrew Francis recovered to grab the interception near midfield as the Storm have it at the Jacksonville 43, now facing a 2nd and 8 with 10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Let's see if they run another play here.
I don't think so.
Clock ticks down 2-1. They will get it off. Cochran throws. Intercepted. Maybe they rushed the play call a little bit because they've given the ball straight back to Jacksonville. The Kings will have the ball off the quarter break, and it's the first interception of the season by Alex Bond.
Jacksonville's defense has come to play today. I mean, despite the fact of their offensive woes, their defense is keeping them in this ball game. Alex Bond, and company, those guys that just came to play, and they just need their offense to wake up.
1 quarter in the books. Florida Storm 6, Jacksonville Kings nothing. This is the Simulation Football League, presented by APM Music on 11 Sports and for the fans. Welcome back to St. Petersburg, Florida, to the eye of the storm. Michael Torello on play-by-play. Eddie Gage is alongside me in color commentary as the Storm lead the Kings 6-0 after one. Start of the second quarter right now. Christensen under center after the interception. As Jacksonville's got the ball back, and Christensen's going long, and it's almost again, as getting up to knock the ball down was Evan Carroll.
Christensen has not yet had positive fortune in terms of the deep ball so far this season. Almost another turnover right there.
Yeah. Second down and 10. Christensen, 3 receivers to aim at. He's going to stand in the pocket, fire over the middle, gets caught, and down the field for a first down is Grayson Willis, finally brought down inside Florida territory at the 42-yard line.
This time with a clean pocket and much less duress, he's able to find a receiver from the intermediate route for a first down. When his offensive line is giving him protection, it makes things a lot easier for any quarterback.
Andrew Francis, same man who made the interception for Florida earlier, came up and made the tackle on that play. Only the second foray into Florida territory for Jacksonville tonight. Haven't even gotten in field goal range yet. There's a short pass to the far side. That pass is caught by Greg Mack, and he will fall forward for 4 yards. And one of the reasons that Christensen's have been having some problems tonight is this man, Alex Dominguez. He leads the league all-time in sacks with 148.5. He also holds the records for most solo tackles, sacks, and tackles for loss in a season, all done back in season 11. And he puts up insane numbers and gets impressive production on the defensive line. Second down and 6. Christensen hit as he throws, and the ball goes nowhere. He was hit that time by Leon. Dominguez was there as well. And Eddie, as a defensive coordinator, you haven't had to pull your hair out over how to stop Dominguez too much, but I'll finish my point after this next play. It's a third down and 6 from the Florida 39. Christensen under center, 2 receivers to the far side left. He's going to look that way, step into the pocket, and he's going to go down. 4th sack of the game for the Storm. Christensen in trouble early and often tonight as Leon grabs his hat trick in the first quarter and a third.
Alaska came to play today. They got that was more like a cover sack in my opinion. The X receiver wasn't open, the Y wasn't open, the U, I believe, wasn't open either. There was just nowhere to go with that football. They had no choice but to eat it.
So Howard McCoy comes on to punt. I'll finish my point from earlier. Do you think that Dominguez, pretty much by himself, has shaped the landscape of the Simulation Football League in the past maybe 5 or 6 seasons by forcing teams to really focus on the defensive line?
I tell you what, I'm going to consider him a trendsetter because before he came along, defensive ends, defensive tackles, heck, the defensive line in itself, it wasn't thought about as much from a lot of teams. But once he began to consistently apply pressure, you couldn't help but pay attention to him in that spot.
Ron Cochran from his own 10-yard line fires down the middle. That was dangerous as it was off the hands of Anthony Wyo. Again, he could have had 3 interceptions so far tonight.
He's had 2 hit him right in his hands.
Yeah, the final piece of SFL history I'll bring up is I seem to remember a season, I think it was season 10 or 11. It was the first championship season for the Storm. And it was the Storm and the Kings, back then the Tallahassee Pride, as 2nd and 10 for Cochran from the 11-yard line. 9:14 to go first half. Cochran takes the snap, fires it out to Doyle on the near side. And Doyle scratched that Weston will fall out of bounds, gain of 1. It was just these 2 teams that brought stacked defensive lines and just rolled over everybody.
Absolutely. I'm jealous. If I can just get that kind of consistent productivity. I have 3 rookies on my team, so as soon as I get them going along with Chad Tackle, it's going to be havoc for the rest of my opponents as well.
3rd and 9. Cochran jump pass on the run. It's intercepted. He threw it in an open taken away by Alex Bond. A penalty flag flies late on the play, but it should be Jacksonville football deep in Florida territory.
That's going to be a face mask.
And it's against Florida, and it's going to move the ball halfway the distance to the goal, so it's going to be even better field position for Jacksonville. And I guess, you know, if your offense can't set up the good field position for yourself, have your defense do it for you.
I believe that was Michael Sprouse on that pick, was it not?
No, it was Alex Bond, his second of the game.
Pardon me, but if he cuts that to the outside, that might have been a pick six.
Now it's time for the offense of Jacksonville to finally cash in here. First and goal from the 7-yard line. They've been given a gift. Can they open it? Low snap for Christensen. Plenty of time in the pocket. Throws short to Willis. Willis runs away from everybody and scores. Touchdown, Jacksonville.
That's unfortunate for Alaska. They had that play dialed up perfectly, and he was forced to check it down there, but he was able to give his opponent there a shoulder charge and shake him off and get in the end zone.
A one-play, 7-yard drive caps off the interception by Alex Bond and gives the Jacksonville Kings potentially a lead here pending the extra point. We've seen earlier seasons the extra point, it's not guaranteed.
No, and as bad as Jacksonville has played thus far, here they find themselves with a 1-point lead, extra point pending.
The kicker is Richard Douglas. And the snap is down. The hold is good. The kick is also good. And Jacksonville from nowhere takes a 7-6 lead. We're back after the break with the Storm trying to respond. This is the Simulation Football League presented by APM Music on the 11 Sports Network and for the fans. Welcome back to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the hometown Florida Storm. Now down 7-6 after the interception and quick touchdown for Jacksonville as they take the lead here in a low-scoring football game. 8:47 to go, second quarter. And up to the 29-yard line is the return. So a lot of players on both of these teams with big play capability. I'm talking about people like Stephen Bush and Optimus Klein for Alaska on the Florida rather. On the Jacksonville side, you've got Ken Gossett, Hunter Jones, Grayson Willis. Why do you think we haven't seen those big plays? I'll get your answer after this first play from scrimmage here. 1st and 10 from the 29. And a short out route caught by Jose Galliano gets him 5 yards.
I can answer that question for you in 2 words: defensive line. Neither of these quarterbacks have had much time to breathe back there. If their first option isn't open, they've often been either sacked or forced to throw the ball away or check it down.
4 sacks for the Alaska defense so far, and Cochran, while he has only been taken down once, has had happy feet all night long as pressure comes in his face again. He's got to throw it short, and it's going to be no gain or maybe a gain of 1 yard out to Connor Weston.
Yeah, once again, that's a prime example of what I was just talking about. If you don't have time to look for your primary and secondary targets there, you have no choice but to check it down.
3rd down and 4. Cochran, pressure from the backside, steps away from it, checks it down, and Weston is buried in the backfield. It'll bring up a 4th down, 3 and out. A huge 3 and out, I might add, for the Jacksonville defense.
Yes, they could not ask for anything better than this right here. Their offense played not so well, to be kind. That entire first quarter found a way to capitalize on a turnover and score 7 points there. And now they have an opportunity again here to put more points in the board after another outstanding defensive performance.
In the first quarter, the Storm were 3 for 4 on third down. In this second quarter, 0 for 2 so far, as the punt is returned for a very short gain up to the Jacksonville 23. That's where Christensen and company will take over, up by 1. 7 minutes flat to go in the first half.
Florida has always been a good third down offensive team. They were 7-15 last week, and able to do so by keeping it in third and manageable situations.
2 receivers spread out to the left for Christensen. He's going to throw it that way, and caught by Ken Gossett for 3 yards as he falls out of bounds. We've seen a lot of those routes from both teams tonight, Eddie.
Yes, we have, and in my opinion, that's what both teams are going to have to continue to do. Stop looking so much downfield and take what the defense is giving you, because the front line of both of these defenses tonight have came to play.
And even if it's not just out routes, we've seen a lot of short routes up the seam, or slants, or corner routes. Not a lot of things deep. 2nd and 7. Christensen sidearms it under pressure. What a fantastic catch in traffic by Hunter Jones as he falls forward for a first down at the 34-yard line.
That was a fantastic catch, but it was an even better throw. He had a defender right in his lap and had to throw that ball sidearm to get it out of there.
We've seen a couple of those throws so far this evening from Christensen, but he's completed, I think, all but one of them. Now on 1st and 10. Oh, here comes the blitz. And Dominguez gets home again. He's got 2 sacks now.
I tell you what, his primary defender was open for a moment there, and he didn't have time even to get it to him because the pressure was in his face immediately.
That's the second time that Dominguez has made Shane Stanley, the left tackle, look absolutely silly. He just walked past him for a sack. And now 2nd down and 16. Short drop for Christensen underneath. Pass caught by Gossett. He'll step out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Get 5 of those yards back. It'll be 3rd down at 11.
It's going to be 3rd and 11. And I would like Christensen to remain smart here. Don't force anything downfield. The defense has been in your lap all game long thus far. Chunk it down and just be happy with a punt if you have to.
Don't want to throw another interception. He's already thrown 2 today. Christensen, this time he's got plenty of time, launches it into traffic. The referee probably was not helping as he was in the middle of the melee, and the pass sails over his head.
But it was press coverage, so it was a tight window there, and worked out great for them because here they are forcing a point.
It wasn't too far overthrown, actually. Ryan Tobin got a hand to it.